Dara, good morning to you.
Well, lads, how's it going?
Where do you want to start today? Because is it poor Mikel Arteta, or should we talk about Cork and the Squirts? You pick.
I'll go Cork and the Squirts.
Well, Cork and the Squirts. Front page of the Sun. You can stick your Squirts. Team set for protested final. Both sides to only wear shorts. Camogie players will all wear shorts in a crunch final, even if it gets the match abandoned. I haven't heard this morning yet if it's going to be a referee brave enough to abandon this game, or an association brave enough to abandon the game, because that would be like, that'd be taking a gun and shooting both your feet off, hacksawing them off slowly in front of the whole world.
You see, I think the game will go ahead this weekend with shorts worn. The real decision then is what they do after that.
Well, genie's out of the bottle. Yeah. Like, oh, you let them play, Dublin Camogie County Board just decided the other night, off you go, on you go.
Yeah.
Play away, we don't care. And everybody wore shorts.
I wouldn't even say brave enough, I would say stupid enough to go against this movement now. And like, as for anyone that's arguing against this or think they can tell them what they should wear or tell women what they should wear, it's just like, who do you think you are? Like, it's just such a bizarre take.
But Dara, what about tradition? And don't they look much better in the Squirts?
Tradition has done so much good for this country.
It's a great thing, tradition. Sure, it got us where we are.
Yeah, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. It's absolutely insane. But it's good to see that. I think the momentum is there now, so hopefully it's resolved after this weekend.
You must be very proud as a Cork person that they're actually living up to the whole Rebels moniker, which, frequently over the last few decades has been a bit of a millstone around the neck.
Oh, do you think so?
Certainly of the men's teams, anyway. Oh. Women's teams are always just hoovering up all Ireland at a regular rate.
What does Rebels mean to you?
It means we look forward to representing ourselves, our clubs, our counties and our supporters in Saturday's Munster final. We will not be making any further media comment ahead of the game, as our concentration is focused on putting on our best possible performance. We'll be at the Rag in Tipperary with the intention of getting the better of each other in the field of play. We'll be togged out wearing shorts. That's our choice. Ends. It's a rebellious statement. Screw you, buddies. We've made our decision and we're sticking to it. Strike. Strike. That's what it means.
It's good, it's a good statement. Yeah. See, I think what happened here, I'd say the Camogie Association didn't even think twice about this when they rejected the notion of shorts and just moved on with their lives and have sleepwalked into this week. And now it is too late. But I also feel like they're not going to be too bothered about it and they're just going to let this happen now. Shorts from now on. We're like, okay, fine.
But ultimately, that's exactly what you should do.
Yeah, but I think they will, because they just didn't get ahead of it quickly enough, and now they can't. And they're just going to be like, okay, they're just going to shrug their shoulders and move on. And I feel like this story will die very quickly, but maybe even this time next week, we're just going to allow shorts to play.
It's a very bad showing for them, though. And it was just such a bizarre
thing. The
thing.
lesson learned, they missed. It was back there, and they missed it.
This should have been righted a long time ago, but they had the chance there a few days ago, and they came out with that statement. It's just like, oh, what are you doing? Just make the right decision.
I just don't think they're used to having to do something like that in the Camogie Association, where they have to really make a big call on behalf of their players, and something that's going to reach the public consciousness across the country. I think they're inexperienced with that, and usually what's probably the first PR error that people make is they're not proactive enough, and then it's too late.
Sean O'Connelly was on last night with Owen. I don't know if you heard the interview, but they went through the whole detail of their proposal, which went to Congress, and their experience of lobbying at Congress, and just the weirdness of someone saying, I think they look better. It's like, who cares what you think? Like, if that's the first thing you reach for, that's creepy and weird. It's just creepy and weird.
That is.
And all this men interfering in what women's choice is creepy and weird.
And also,
stop being creepy and weird.
Even without those words used, right? Even if it's not creepy and weird.
It is.
I'm saying, I'm agreeing.
But we should call these things what they are, as opposed to
hold on.
Dancing around the issue. A bunch of men deciding what women wear is creepy and weird.
I'm saying that that's all true, but even its most basic form, it's just a subjective thing to say from someone who's not directly involved. That's all it is. Like, it's not like there's a scientific fact and study done in the form of Tess Howard that like, oh, these scores actually improve play. The rationale for keeping the scores, they look better.
Yeah.
There's no science.
There's two
to that.
sides to it. There's the would you say perverted side to it, where it's like, why do you care what people wear and women wear? But then there's also the thing of like, this is just so stupid. Like, it just makes no sense.
If Gianni Versace came in and said, I have a view on this, I'd be like, okay, I can listen to, you know, you spent your entire life enmeshed in fashion.
That would be great.
And you know, but at the same time, while I respect what you say about the fashion side of it, it's got literally nothing to do with the playing of the sport, which is supposed to be about creating participation, boosting numbers, and making people happy. That's why we play sport, is to make people happy.
Do you think the naysayers are afraid that, oh, this will be the start of it now, and then you'll be allowed to wear what you want on the pitch,
maybe,
and nobody will be uniform at all, and that you'll only be able to pass to a teammate because you recognise their face?
I just think they're behind the times and they're a bit backwards, to be honest. I think it's as simple as that. There's much more to it.
There's been a lot of that in our country, hasn't there?
Yeah.
Back in my day, piercings to be taken out, you could put a plaster over them for a while, but then that had to go too.
What do you mean had to go?
Take them off entirely.
Well, that's the right thing.
Don't wear anything.
Do you not remember?
But people, you know, they would say, remember, like footballers, you'd see back in the day, they used to wear chains. They used to have heavy chains underneath their jersey.
Dusting off the 90 book.
The World Cup Italia 90. They did features on all the players, right? Like legendary players, player biographies. I'm fairly sure. Maybe it was Mexico '86 one. But there's a story. Do you know who Ner Pito is? Oh, here it is. Ner Pito. This scarred me for life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ner Pito's genius and goal earned him 2 World Championship titles in 1 year, but his look before you leap style doesn't always endear him to the fans. So he's the Argentina goalkeeper. And there's a line in this, if I'm not wrong. Oh, it's not there. Can't find it.
It's a rendition. What was it?
His wedding ring. Oh, as double world champion, Pompito brought his career through an agonising accident when he nearly ripped a finger off after catching his wedding ring on a rusty hook behind a crossbar. Surgeons sewed the nerves and skin back together, leaving both Pompito's hand and career intact.
You not wear gloves?
Well, he had gloves, yeah. But so, piercings and rings, take them off. Piercings and rings, take them off. You brought this up. This has scarred me since I read this as a child in 1990.
Because you could visualise it.
Can you not visualise the finger hanging off? This slow, steady stitching. Do you have time to get an anaesthetic? You probably don't. If you're lucky, there's a little shot of something in the hand, which is already screaming and writhing in agony. The finger dangling, someone having to go over and put it in ice.
Yeah.
Hand bleeding, like can't staunch it, because if you staunch it, you won't be able to stitch it back.
There's a fella in Cork who climbed over an astro fence with a thing on and caught it on the way down. That haunted me through that visual.
Got a bit sidetracked.
But so this is the piercings, jewellery, right, and the chains, like
an expression of identity.
symbol of individual expression.
Yeah.
Like, so I play better if I wear all this stuff. And it would say back in the day, in the 1990 World Cup and beyond, you would have players wearing chains underneath the jersey. They'd be like bouncing as they run. That's kind of gone now.
Do you think Paul Mescal played with the chain when he was playing for Kildare?
No.
Kildare's greatest lost footballer. Well, or any of the rugby players. Will we do some Arsenal?
Yeah.
Eiffel Power. Vava Gloom as Ruiz and Hakimi see off Gunners is the back of the Sun. Good night Paris for Gunners as PSG prevail is the headline in the back of the Indo. The Examiner. Parisian night. Heartbreak for Arsenal as PSG set up inter-final. Slow down. Art break. Art ache are the headlines in the back of the Star and the Mirror. And then Gunners are floored. It's after Bukayo Saka. Do you think if Saka scored that? Because there's still a quirk in PSG that I think makes Inter slight favourites for me to win the game. That if Saka had scored and equalised on the night and only put them one behind, that there would have been a charge.
I think all the English teams have proven that you can get at Paris Saint-Germain. Aston Villa nearly did, very nearly did. Liverpool also did. And I thought the game was over. I think we all did when Hakimi scored last night, but then straight away Saka scores. And had they finished that, you never know. But what's really interesting here, I'm going to get to, is Mikel Arteta saying that Arsenal are a better side.
Gunners left singing the blues is the headline on the I paper. Arsenal mastered in Paris and missed out on Champions League final. Mastered, I haven't heard that one. Is that like some kind of weird... Oh, you know, sorry, I'll let you fill in the rest of it. Mikel Arteta. You want to... So, Arteta's getting hammered for being Mikel Arteta. Look, let's let the people make up their own minds. There's a bit of the post-match, immediate post-match. Are we playing the whole thing?
The whole thing, yeah.
No, I think you should listen to you're going to take the headline from this. I know you are, and you're going to beat the head off Mikel Arteta from being Mikel Arteta. But he's like, anyway, have a look. A man in trauma.
Cal, the journey ends here tonight. What are your initial thoughts after that?
Well, first of all, congratulate PSG for reaching the final. The assessment, I will make it when I'm a little bit cooler. But the feedback that I got is straight away from their bench is that we're much better than them. When you look at the two games, who has been their best player on the pitch, has been their goalkeeper. He's made a difference for them in the tie. And I think we were very close, much closer than our results showed. But unfortunately, we are out. I'm very proud of the players, what we've done today, the way we started, how we handled the pressure, the amount of pressure. After 20 minutes, it should be 3-0. But, yeah, there is something extra that you need in the competition to go your way, and it didn't.
Are you proud of the fact that it's the second season in the Champions League, quarterfinals, semi-finals? What ultimately might get you over the line potentially next season?
I don't am upset, and we should not be. Yeah, we were very close. Yes, for long periods of both games, we were much better than them. But we are not there, and that has to hurt. And if we want to win this competition and go there, we need to realize that. And there are certain things that are on us. And you shouldn't be just understanding that we are out. It's not the way I look at it.
Are you happy, or have you seen enough progress with your team this season?
Yeah, 100%. I don't think there's been a better team in the competition so far, what I've seen. But we are out tonight. We deserve much more, I think, in both games. But this competition is about the boxes, and in the boxes there are normally the strikers most of the time and a goalkeeper, and he was the best player in both games.
Ultimately, what do you want to do over the summer to make changes or add to get further?
I'm so proud of the boys, and what they deserve a lot of credit for what they're doing in the context and the situation, and with the amount of injuries. We have arrived here probably in the worst state that you can arrive as a team. You have to get here with everybody fit, available, with a lot of minutes, with rest, like they had a week. We come here in a completely different context and still do that. So that gives me a lot of positivity for the future. But tonight I'm very upset.
And Mikel, thank you for talking to us anyway.
Yeah,
Arsenal, they're a bit Leinster-like, aren't they?
What does that mean?
What a dick. Pardon me. But go on.
You know, they're always challenging right to the very, very end. And then when it really comes to it,
2018, Leinster actually won the competition.
2020, Arsenal won the FA. 2020, Arsenal won the FA Cup.
The Champions League. If
a more recent
Arsenal had
trophy
won
than
the
Leinster.
Champions, a more recent trophy, yeah, they could have won the Carling Cup, or they might have won a pre-season Dublin tournament.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the Carling Cup. The Carabao Cup, right? They've reached. That's one of the many semi-finals they've reached under Mikel Arteta.
Come on, Ulster!
But they've lost the last four. They've lost the last four two-legged semi-finals under Mikel Arteta. You know, when it really, really comes to it. And then the other side of it, the reason that they're like Leinster in a good wager is that they're very consistent under Mikel Arteta. They're on track to finish second for the third season in a row. They're going to finish second in the Premier League. They're on track for that. They've reached a number of semi-finals. They're just kind of a worse version of Leinster.
Well, Leinster tend to finish top of the league. So if it was like the Premier League, they would have won God knows how many at this stage.
They haven't, though.
But then Arsenal, when are they ever in the Champions League semi-finals? Not very often. So you can't really, they're not really comparable.
No, it's a stupid trying to twist the knife comparison that everybody's seeing through. It's
not.
opaque.
It's not at all.
It's sheer. What about Mikel Arteta's claim that they were the best team in the competition?
You would have Leo Collins say that.
I like the way he couched it in. The bench told me.
Yeah, they told us.
Yeah, the big boys.
I'm not saying it.
My statisticians tell me that we were the better team.
They're very consistent. They're a really good side under Arteta. That's the thing. And again, they're a bit like Leinster. They're in purgatory about what to do next. Because it's not you can't sack Arteta.
David Raya saves the penalty.
He shouldn't go.
Donnarumma is the best player in. Donnarumma played well, but none of the shots were brilliant. You had your definition of world class save. I'm not sure. I think it was your definition was
if the shot goes in, you want to blame the goalkeeper.
Yeah, it seems like lots of shots will go in because the goals are actually quite big compared to the human frame.
That's mad.
Size per. If you stand the goalkeeper at the post, for example, and look at the rest of the goals, you're like, okay, it's actually balanced in favour of the striker.
What's your point?
My point is that I don't think that many of Donnarumma's saves were truly world class. He played well.
The Martin Odegaard save was phenomenal. Absolutely incredible save.
David Raya saves a penalty as well. The notion that they were by far the better team, they were already behind, and so they had to make all the running in the game last night, and that's why they come out for the first 20 minutes, and you just feel like they're going to get done here if they don't score. And sure enough, they don't score, and they get done. There were multiple chances that PSG had in that first half where if it had been 3-1 at half time to PSG and Arsenal had scored first, you'd be like, yeah, that was the balance of play. But it wasn't. And I think that they clearly screwed up last summer by not getting a warm body in as the striker.
Yeah.
And there's millions of them. And this year, they need to overcorrect.
There's actually not a lot of strikers that they could get that could really improve him. There's a limited list, and for whatever reason, Arteta is very, very picky about who to bring in.
Well, so
he has had
his
options,
problem.
and he hasn't. But we know that. We've talked about that all season. But I think their tactic last night was very interesting at the start. They had 11 throw-ins to the box. They bombarded PSG's here. They played like it was the last 10 minutes of the game, not the first 10 minutes.
Do you think that was just developed during the week? Party comes back. Party couldn't run, so they're like, here, just practice your throw-ins there.
Felt fresh. Felt very fresh. And PSG nearly collapsed under that pressure. So there were 3 opportunities for Arsenal to score in that time. So Declan Rice misses a good opportunity with the header after 3 minutes. Martinelli has a shot from about 6 yards out, volley, which was saved by Donnarumma. That was fine. It was straight at him. The Odegaard save was remarkable. Comes through a body of players, can't see it. Brilliant shot. Going into the near post. He's a big boy, Donnarumma. He got down quickly, parried it around the post. Even the strength of the shot could have got under his hand.
This is the one that broke his shoulder to the point where he has to take a 5-minute break. So we all know we can rewatch replays of. Have they showed the replay 5 times? Okay, I can get up now. Was that incident? That the one you're talking about?
I don't know, but anyway, it was the Odegaard shot. And I thought the Jan Sommer save the night before from Lamine Yamal in extra time was going to be the best save of the week. Donnarumma was world class.
Yeah.
No right to save it. And then I think what happened then, despite Arsenal's dominance, the closest opportunity was Kvaratskhelia hitting the post after 17 minutes, which is the first thing that PSG really did properly in the game. And Arteta's right in the point that they did really. I absolutely disagree with them saying they're the best team in the competition, or even the best team over the 2 legs on the night. But they have done well because PSG are a much superior side to them. They hung in there, and that's why PSG do have flaws, big flaws. But when they get going, there's no one can touch them. And Arsenal found that out last night.
PSG are very much in the forming stage of what it is that their identity is going to be. This is their first season; they've been free of all the
and they're already
the
superior
superstars.
to Arsenal in that, who have been together for a long time.
I mean, you could make the case that Luis Enrique was a bit more like Leo Cullen last night when he dropped Dembele from the start of the game. But
I did make that.
That doesn't suit the narrative because they won the game.
You're borrowing my own line to you, which is on WhatsApp after 10 minutes, being like
they won the game. But
exactly. My colleague over there, Dara, is acknowledging it. I was a witness to it. Me saying,
yeah, but you didn't bring it to air because they won the game. So
exactly.
It doesn't suit your.
If Leinster done the job, we'd be talking differently this week.
But they didn't do the job,
and Arsenal didn't do the job, and hence is what we were discussing this.
Why did he do that?
Why did he
leave
do
him
that?
On the bench?
When Dembele got warmed up at the start of the second half,
the
huge
crowd.
ovation from the
Messi
crowd.
getting off the
Came
bench.
through the television.
Again, was there more disciplinary issues that we don't know about? Like, you never quite know what the crack is with this. So maybe he just has decided that he needs to put a shot across his bows for the rest of the season. Because, Ivan McGann said he wasn't fully fit. But
well, that's totally fair enough then.
Yeah.
That ends that debate. He wasn't fit. Okay. But they were fine without him in the end. But Inter can be satisfied with this.
Oh, very, very much so. I think either way Inter were going to be satisfied. Like, they have the nous, they've got the recent experience. They know exactly what it's going to take to get it done. There is Arsene Wenger always used to say, everyone thinks they have the prettiest wife at home. It'd be good for Arteta to listen to that and go, maybe I just need to not come out and say we were the best team after we've been just a bit more like.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. I'm glad to see Bobby Dwyer back in the comments. It's been a while since we saw Bob, and Bobby wouldn't be the biggest fan of Mikel Arteta. But I would say there was some strange, unusual sense of self-awareness by Arteta last night by saying, like, I'm pretty angry here. Kind of Shane Lowry at the Masters, I'm kind of going to say something stupid. So kind of acknowledged it before he went on to say what he said. I think they're in a very difficult position now, Arsenal, about what to do next, because a bit like Leinster, I could see the exact same thing happening next year. And then they would have to make a big decision to change that. And why would you change something that is overall working quite consistently well? Whereas PSG, if anything, any clunky comparison they're going to have with the Cork hurlers is that they fly out of the traps, or at some point in the game they're going to have 15 minutes where nobody in the world can touch them. But if you hang in with them, you have an opportunity.
Yeah, and it looks like in terms of experience, Inter are well designed for that. But if you were to go wide players against pace, you'd think Inter having a hope. So it'll be very interesting to see. It's going to be a fascinating encounter. It could be one of those boring nil-alls.
Yeah, I think that's a good word for it. I think it will be fascinating. I'm very much looking forward to that final about the change up in styles.
It's a 4-3 classic. I just wanted off the wall breakfast with UPMC orthopedic care. When things don't move, rotate or bend like they used to, choose us to help you get back in action.
I'm not sure, right? And someone can answer me this out there. I don't think Inter and PSG have ever played each other competitively in a game. And it was actually my buddy brought this to my attention last night too. And then I thought about it myself. I can't find any example. If anyone can, pre-season friendlies aside now in America or whatever, I don't think they have. Andrew, you'll be fascinated by this. You ready? You ready for this? First time since the Champions League final of 2004 when Jose Mourinho's Porto beat Monaco. That
no winner. Or
an English, German or Spanish side haven't been in the final. Some bit of novelty about this one.
The home fans in the France-Ireland game, which was obviously in Paris Saint-Germain's home stadium, were amazing. And I wonder what the crossover is between the Paris Saint-Germain ultras and whether or not they decided to show up to watch France stroll through a victory against Stephen Kenny's Ireland. But they were class, and hopefully they'll be the same for the final. The Inter fans were class for the game that they lost in the Champions League final a couple of years ago. So it's all setting up well for Munich at the end of the month.
Yeah, it really is. Who's going to wear the away jersey? It'll be a big one as well. A big one. But where do Arsenal go from here, Ger?
Sign a striker. Yeah. It's very straightforward.
And that's it. That's as simple as.
Well,
an easier fix than Leinster.
Like, sign a striker. You need to sign a striker. And you need to sign 2 strikers. And you probably need to sign 3 strikers. And rotate the hell out of them and find out which one suits the style of play best. Like, they have some brilliant players. They have the bones of a really, really good team. And you have to think that maybe there's Liverpool comes slightly off from last season. Maybe Chelsea improve. What's the new City going to be like?
Yep.
Will they start the season minus points?
Yeah. Telling you, look, Arsenal are very nearly there on paper. They've a good goalkeeper. They've an excellent array of full-backs on both sides. I'd say they need more centre-back cover beyond the 2 boys. Yeah. Because Gabriel's injured. They probably keep VR. He's done a good job. I've done better than I thought he was going to do in the Real Madrid games and these games. But they could do a cover. They could probably do a cover in central midfield after the 3 lads.
Not a full-back though. Is he actually? Do you play him somewhere else? Is he? Are they going to turn him into Trent and actually he could be?
Possibly, yeah. But he'll be playing on that side anyway. And then, it's up front. Everyone knows this. And then that could be it. That could be it for Arsenal. They're so close, but at the same time, you look at their style of play. And last night, outside of set pieces or pot shots,
you said
hard to see.
Ben Simmons' career collapsed. Why?
Simmons, it was drafted to the 76ers in 2016, but didn't play till 2017. I can't remember which pundit it was in the NBA, but he basically said, LeBron, you can retire now. We have Ben Simmons. We'll be fine. And then Ben Simmons had a couple of great seasons, class player, and then just kind of, like you say, collapsed. Like he has all the talent in the world, but just can't seem to execute what he should be able to do. Felt like that with Odegaard over the whole Champions League campaign. It's just like, geez, he is so good, but he just won't take a shot. Or, well, he took a shot last night, obviously, of the volley.
No, but there was a moment afterwards where
a few moments
he
where
turned down an opportunity to shoot.
What's wrong with him? Like, there's like a mental block there, and you're like, you're so good at football.
So Lars Sivertson, his compatriot called him last week on with us saying, what was the word he used to describe him? Neat? Handy?
Yeah.
Definitely that area of description. Damn by faint praise, like.
He wanted him to be less Norwegian, more Portuguese.
Yes, well, yeah, that was one of them, but there was a specific word. But yeah, but look, I don't know, like Arsenal massively missed Odegaard when he was missing earlier on in the season, remember that? And he came back from injury, and the first game was away to Chelsea, and he was very good. But maybe he hasn't reached the level that he had prior, because he was one of their top scorers. Was it last season he scored 15 goals in the Premier League, or the year before? So he has been a vital component for them. But yeah, like maybe Arteta is a very good symbol of this Arsenal, is that he's very, very good. Odegaard, sorry, yeah, but doesn't quite reach the great level.
But I think he has been at that level where he's not world class, but he's not far off it. Like, he could play in most teams in the world, but he's at his best.
Well, yeah, look, Real Madrid took a big punt on him.
He's nowhere near that level right now.
The thing is, if you have a really well organised team and a dedicated style of play that everybody understands and a bit of tactical nuance, you don't need 11 world class players on your side, because you're not actually ever going to have that. You just need a bunch of players who can be very functional. And he is at a level where you can certainly be an important part of the team, but like Saka probably has potential to be that. I think, not to get all the promise of youth and all that, but Lewis Kelly looks amazing. So
yeah, well,
they're not far away.
There were moments last night where definitely his age was apparent, like, or his lack of experience at that level. But yeah, he's unbelievable. Their three best players: Rice, Odegaard, Saka. I would say I'd be interested to hear other candidates there. Saka, I talk about coming back from injuries. He's been unbelievable since he returned after 3 months away. But you look at Martinelli on their side, I don't know what's happened to Martinelli.
Well, Gabriel's probably in their best players, most important players conversation, isn't he? Now
yeah.
Would he be there? I don't know.
But that's when we're going through the Arsenal squad. It's very good, but I don't know what's happened with the rest of the forwards, and Gabriel Jesus as well is never going to get you a goal, and they're close, but lifting a trophy of significance seems to be very far away. Like, look at the last 4 semi-finals. Can't get by that. I don't know if it's mental. I don't know if it's mental or if they're just not good enough.
The pressure is not the same in the Carling Cup. It doesn't count.
When you're there on the day, but
random bits of information to.
This is what they've been doing. They lost 4-0 to Newcastle in the 2 legs of the semi-final of the Carabao Cup.
They had bigger fish to fry this season.
I think they do care.
The temperature.
I think they do. But you're picking and choosing who it matters to win these trophies.
Okay. Yeah. But they'd be overjoyed with we won a trophy, but it's all fake. Like, for a club like Arsenal, this is the trophy that matters.
Listen,
and the Premier League is the trophy that matters.
You have no time to celebrate any of these things. Atletico Madrid won La Liga in 2014, and then a week later they played the Champions League final and they lose. And it doesn't change anything. You have to go back and play it again the next season. If any time a team should have taken a year off was the 2016-17 season for Leicester. Was it you just won the league? Like, they've nowhere to go now.
Did, right? Well, you play in the Champions League the next season.
Yeah,
and then
they got to the quarter-final of the Champions League. But no one has time to celebrate these trophies or it means anything. They go on to the next thing.
Well, Newcastle did.
It's about winning it.
They had a parade. Newcastle had a massive parade, and they've actually bounced.
And now they're back and they're going to get to the Champions League.
Yeah, and they might qualify. Okay, so this is Will O'Callaghan's stat from last night. First time in 28 years that Dublin won't have a team in a Leinster football final at senior 21 or 20 or minor in the men's. Second time in 50 years. It'll be a salty enough county board meeting the next time there's delegates from the county board. Is it no John Costello, no party? Is that the story? That they took their eye off the tiller in recent years? Or does it matter?
I'd say the most tempting time to lose focus is when you're at your greatest. And look at the last decade with Dublin. It was like, look at this conveyor belt of talent. Those words were used so regularly in the last decade to describe Dublin. They're coming from everywhere. And I guess, when are you most motivated? When you're nearly there but not quite there.
Yeah, you're saying they lost the hunger.
I don't think there's any doubt really, is there?
So the minor team are infected somehow by...
Culture, man, isn't it? Starts from the top, works its way down.
How do you feel as a Kildare man? Is this like
just generally.
The gates are open?
Sad.
Yeah.
No Dublin? Sad. Look, I think it's a quirk of a weird season. I don't know what happened, but Louth did absolutely annihilate the Dubs last night. They was 217 to 14 points, I think.
Yeah.
217 to 1-8.
Jeez.
Awfully beat Kildare in the other semi-final. That's a hammering, you know, and that wouldn't have happened too often.
That is a paddling.
Anybody out there with an interest in Dublin football or any other counties want to take a little lap of honour?
The people really want to talk about
We're here for
Arsenal. We know this, right? They really want to lap up that, led by Bobby. However, lads, I don't think we've mentioned it yet. We're half an hour in. It's Lions announcement squad day, and that's exciting.
Lions Day, lads. Yeah.
It's incredibly exciting for me and for you. Did you want to do the Saints video first, or do you want to do the team first?
Yes, so Northampton Saints on their official channels. What do they really think of Leinster? Well, not much, turns out. Have a look.
Everyone said Leinster by 40, 50 points. Three. The other thing we spoke about before, two things we spoke about before. One, it's not about cats. It's not about appearances or boots on. It's about and heart. Fair play to you, lads. Fair play. You showed tons of both of those. You worked your tail off. You believed. You did all that, and it's gold. And we'll pick up the pieces. And the second thing is, Thing has mentioned it. It's all about connection. It runs through our DNA. They're not like us.
They're not like us. That was the bit. That was the theme of the video. They're not like us. Leinster, not like us.
Now, could I
no bollocks, no hards.
Could I defend
no
old
connection.
Phil there? They're not like us is just a general statement, isn't it? The rest of the world. It's Northampton Saints versus the rest of the world.
No,
I think he was
specifically when you
pointing
watch the video.
towards the Leinster dressing room.
I'm trying to in some way defend the man.
No, in the full video. We don't need to defend him. He's just won. He can say what he wants. Why are you defending him?
Well, from your rat.
There's no rats for me.
He's ringing you there.
I actually don't have that much
Answer
of a
that.
problem with that at all. I think that's fine.
I don't have any problem with this.
All right. I thought you were very offended. I thought you were. I don't know if you're going to come in today.
Being offended when they've got Leinster need to take this and listen.
Oh, right.
The specific bits were earlier in that.
Yeah.
They had another clip of which they had obviously been a theme of the week. They're not like us.
Yeah.
They've no connection. It's about bollocks and heart. And they were like Leinster, fancy dans, and all the other derogatory terms that have been used. You can ask your grandparents about what would have been written about Leinster before they won their first title. That these are big shots. They've got all the caps. They've got all the blah, blah, blah. But there's nothing to them. The theme was that there was no connection, right?
Yeah, it seemed like they had identified something, because obviously Northampton, quality-wise, are a good bit off what Leinster should be. So they obviously had to identify something that's not quite just
I'm
on
not
the
sure
pitch.
that's true, by the way, Dara.
Well, I think that
they
Northampton's-
nearly won the game against them last year in a full Croke Park. Like that,
But
and that's a
last
fact.
year's team was much better.
It was.
And Leinster's team has gotten better since then.
Was.
They were missing a lot
You
of
say
players.
last year's team was much better, but last year's team didn't have Pollock. Finn Smith was a year younger. Like, you're on the basis that the end of Courtney Law's career is better than the start of a 20-year-old superstar.
I don't know. Just because of where Courtney was, when he's still a contender for Lions today, like he's a massive player, and he was
He's not a contender for Lions on
is.
form. That would be completely. Like he just isn't a
If he
contender
got
on
selected,
form.
there's a possibility.
If he gets selected, it would be a complete shock.
Okay, but he's up.
And he'd be ahead of loads of other better players. So, and like the guy that also signed, his name is just
Augustus.
Yeah, he wasn't on the team last year.
He was.
Was he?
He was. Yeah, he played.
Yeah. Like it's not that different of a team, but the thing is they were missing several backs from their starting lineup. They're missing Furbank. They're missing George Hendy. So it is pretty objectively not as good of a team as Leinster. Like you can't. They've a South African World Cup two-time World Cup winner. One of New Zealand's best players. Do you know, and they've an unlimited amount of internationals even on their bench. Like there's no real
Okay, the
comparison
Northampton
there.
team was that they've no connection though. They're not. They
Yeah.
won't.
Well, it's like, do you think that Housen had a point about Leinster?
Well, everybody who says something now, you've got to go. So if the opposition have identified something and they're banging on about it in the aftermath, we were correct about this thing that we said, then you have to go, well, what is it? What is it that they're accusing us of? You can't be like, what a bunch of clowns rubbing our faces. And you have to go, okay, well, what are they saying? And take that criticism and go, do we not have enough of a connection? Or is Like, is the Leinster thing... Because it's Leinster's job to prepare players to play for Ireland. It's Northampton's job to win things for Northampton. And if there's a breakdown there, if the Ireland players who play for Leinster are like, well, this is like, you know, our main thing and the thing we get most up for are going to be Six Nations, November, summer tours, World Cups, then that might be an identity issue. There might be an identity problem. I think if they're talking about there's no connection, these players aren't. Like, I'm just interested to know really what they think and what they identified. Is it that they're not literally they're not connected in the way that the two props didn't come up at the same speed as Josh van der Fleer from the defensive perspective? Like, was it as simple as that, or was it actually something more fundamental about Leinster actually are suppliers of players to Ireland?
There could be a thing of like Leinster obviously they might nearly be victims of their own depth because they tend to rotate players a lot, and those players that were playing last weekend, they probably actually haven't started that many games together, which is not ideal when you're going into
they started the Six Nations games together. I don't buy this. You know, I know it's a different system and different style, but it doesn't matter. They all know each other, and they all came through the academy, and they all played together millions of times.
It doesn't though, because you have like Bundy Aki could be thrown in there at one point, and then you have Mark Hansen at another point. But it doesn't matter. It adds up. It's crucial positions. Ty Burns thrown in there. Peter O'Mahony's there. Like, it does make a difference. It's not the same collection of players entirely. It doesn't matter anyway. They still should have won.
I'm just interested in that Northampton identified something specific.
It is interesting, and there is a reason they didn't win, and it's not because they're not good enough. So there has to be something else.
100%. It'll be very interesting to see how many Leinster players are in the Lions squad today, and if that game impacted, because we were going to get Dara Smith-Naughton's Lions 15 later on in the show.
I thought we were going to do it now. Okay.
I think we've run out of time. If you'll see there, we got too carried away.
Off the Wall Breakfast is live with UPMC Orthopaedic Care. When things don't move, rotate or bend like they used to, choose us to help you get back in action. Oh, I'm surprised you didn't say, Leinster and Arsenal could do with a bit of UPMC Orthopaedic Care.
You said it yourself. You did the work. You did the work.
All right, time for the cash machine. The cash machine.
Off the balls, cash machine.
Cash machine's a lot like Leinster, isn't it? Yeah. Good news is cash machine has been reloaded. €103,000 up for grabs now. Taking part is easy. I give you the number. It's €103,000 to enter. Text OTB to 57557. The cost is $2.50 plus your standard message rate to play. You've got to be over 18. You're playing across the Go Loud network of stations. Full terms are on the website at offtheball.com. Your entry needs to be in by 3 o'clock on Friday. Cash machine then randomly picks one entry. It could be you. We call, answer within 5 rings. Tell us the prize amount and the cash is yours. It's €103,000 exactly. Text OTB to 57557.
Off the balls, cash machine.